Immigration. Just 42% of Americans now approve how he's handling immigration, with only 40% approving of his policies on deportations specifically. And when it comes to deportations, 55% think Trump has gone too far. And that's up sharply by 10 points since February.
Arrest of a resident of the hotel.
Hey fam, you are welcome back to another video. So today's video is going to be on what's currently going on in the United States, the riots and the immigration crisis. So the president has decided to deport the illegal immigrants from the United States of America, and a lot of people are quite upset about this. Let's see what's going down.
More in 6 months than almost any administration could accomplish in 8 years, and we're going to have a lot of good 6 months left. We're going to have a 6 and another 6 and another 6, so we'll keep going.
In 6 months, President Trump has succeeded in getting institutions to bend to his will, whether it's Congress, the courts, law firms, universities, and media companies, often with threats that force obedience among even some of his sharpest critics. But what does the American public think about the president's unprecedented use of his executive power? Well, brand new CNN polling out for the first time right now offers a new warning sign for Trump on his bedrock issue, immigration. Just 42% of Americans now approve how he's handling immigration, with only 40% approving of his policies on deportations specifically. When it comes to deportations, 55% think Trump has gone too far, and that's up sharply by 10 points since February.
Weeks of protests against illegal immigrants in the UK, Keir Starmer looks to have finally started listening to his people after repeated protests outside migrant hotels following the arrest of a resident of the hotel.
I want to get everybody's attention. That march around the White House we just did is because we demand an end to the fascist takeover of D.C. And we demand a removal of Trump out of the White House and his whole fascist regime. And I want to say, look, we're going to keep this really short here in front of the White House, but we're going to be here for a couple of minutes. We're going to be here for a couple of minutes because we came to say something in front of this White House, that we are determined to drive the fascist regime there out of power. There will be no free D.C. or free anywhere else if this regime remains in power. Before the takeover of D.C., they have been flooding the streets of Los Angeles with ICE agents, with federal agents, with National Guard troops.
Decision by the Supreme Court 4 days ago that allows the Trump administration to begin implementing a flatly odious and unconstitutional order on birthright citizenship. Well, today, the administration announced it will begin deporting people subject to that order as soon as July 27th. It's madness, but it is madness with a method, which is to deconstruct the foundational concept of what it is to be an American, a concept created in this country's second founding by the 14th Amendment and the victory of the Union, the Civil War, a belief that we are all Americans across all lines of difference, from race to religion to creed. They hate that. They're trying to destroy it. Sherilyn Ifill is the founding director of the 14th Amendment Center for Law and Democracy at Howard University. She was previously president and director counsel for the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. She has a new piece out this week titled A Court Without the Range, the Reconstruction Court 2.0, and she joins me now. Sherilyn, we are seeing a sustained attack on some of the foundational ideas of the Reconstruction Amendments. None more foundational, I think, than this question of who belongs and who's a citizen, What do you make of what we are seeing now that the Supreme Court has paved the way to begin some kind of patchwork implementation of this executive order?
Thanks so much, Chris. This is a danger of the highest order, a danger to our republic as we know it. The conservatives on this court and conservatives in general have long pushed back against the promise and the power of the 14th Amendment to our Constitution, which was ratified in 1868 after the Civil War. The purpose of the 14th Amendment was to ensure that black people, formerly enslaved and free, would be full citizens, but also was to reset our country and to center the principles of equality and justice in our country. And that's the project that they are pushing back against. They have decided to go for that first sentence of the 14th Amendment: all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state in which they reside, what we call birthright citizenship. Except it's very explicit. It's very explicit language in the Constitution. You can't pretend you don't know what they mean, anyone born here. And the framers of that amendment were very well aware that it would mean that the children of migrants, the children of non-citizen workers who were born here would also be citizens. Nevertheless, over the course of the last 15 years, we have heard many Republicans talk about ending birthright citizenship. And President Trump now has come up with a way, with the aid of the United States Supreme Court, to skirt around the plain language of the 14th Amendment to try and implement something that looks like a carve-out from this most important and most vital constitutional protection.
One of the things I think it's worth people getting their heads around, this is reporting in the New York Times, immigrant rights groups in 22 states, all Democratic leadership, have sued over the citizenship order. 3 federal district courts vacated the policy. In 28 states that had not challenged the order, such as Arkansas, Mississippi, North Dakota, and Texas, the order can go into effect. Now, this, there might be class actions that get certified, but just to think about the practical reality of every hospital in America, or at least in these states, becoming the frontier of creating a second-class non-citizenship status that they are administering to women coming screaming in labor pains.
Remember, the core of our reset country through the 14th Amendment was that this is a country that has no caste. It has no levels of citizenship. But this is precisely what this administration is imagining. And it's happening, Chris, at a time when we are watching masked ICE agents roll up on people outside the Home Depot and wrestle them to the ground. And we're watching them, deport people and send people to third-party countries with which they have no connection. Is that what is going to be happening to newborn babies who are born, who they believe fall under this executive order, which purports to deny birthright citizenship to those who don't have at least one parent who's a citizen or a permanent resident? Are they going to be, as you say, outside maternity wards, these masked agents, or in maternity wards, trying to take babies away from their parents, or outside the homes of new parents, trying to enforce this executive order? This is beyond dystopian. It already has been dystopian. This is contrary to everything, not just that we believe in this country, but that any decent country premised on the idea of democracy believes in. The question is, will we allow it to happen? The Supreme Court had to know. They were given a green light to this, even though they have said, there could be these class actions, which are aggregated cases where lots of people come together and bring an action. As you point out, there are jurisdictions where federal courts very much disfavor class actions, through the Fifth Circuit, for example, where individuals would have to bring their own case, find a lawyer, bring their case to be able to keep this EO from going into effect against them. I cannot imagine what we might be facing by the end of this month.
What? I just can't understand and fathom what these people are facing currently in the United States. They've built their life over there. They've built their career over there. Now you call them illegal immigrants. Meanwhile, if you look closely at Trump's generation, you will see that his granddad is actually an illegal immigrant as well. If he's going to start from anyone, it should start from himself. These people have built their life, and deporting them to countries that they are not even related to, they don't have anything attached to, doesn't make any sense. These few months of Trump administration, it feels like 2 years of hell already for the United States of America. For those that are there, I just feel for the black in particular, how are they coping? How are you guys even coping with this current administration? Like, it's devastating to see everything currently happening, and the riot in the White House doesn't... What? Is Trump able to applaud himself, seeing people riot against him, saying he must go? Is that what he wants? I doubt that. There will be so much chaos if this is not handled now. If this goes overboard, it will be disastrous and chaotic. What's your thoughts? Main reason why people travel abroad to other countries is to give their children a right to their citizenship. So why is Trump trying to deny them of that? I don't get it. This is devastating. If you want to deport people from the country, why don't you even start with the criminals? Look out for all the criminals in the United States, fish them out, deport them to their various countries. Leave the good ones alone. Leave the ones that have built their life over there alone. Give them a peace of mind. A lot of people are constantly living in fear right now in the United States, and I bet you agree with me.